as a country,
Yes.
we don't read. First of all, one thing that I think is a problem is that the language in which we do finance act is too difficult to comprehend for the normal, it's not just for the common 190.
Yes.
Even for even by any standard, for anybody who's even well educated. We have created an economy and an education system
Yes.
that is based on theft.
Yes.
Why a lot of people want to do procurement is because they think that is the line that you utakaribia pesa hapo unaweza kuiba.
Yeah.
Uajiriwe, ukue procurement, when unanunua vitu uibe. It's a problem. I think we as a country have ruined a whole generation by creating non-achievable expectations. Because we created an education system that does not enable our people. A lot of population that is coming in, very high expectations, because they are actually educated. They went to school, and they, according to our culture, is that you finish, you as a person, your work is to go through education, finish, get a degree, and then someone else should do something else.
Thank you so much and welcome to this conversation. This is the Power Table. My name is Eugene Kwach, and of course we welcome you to yet another episode of this conversation where we get to delve deeply into critical issues that are affecting us as a country. And of course tonight we host GG Kagombe. GG Kagombe is a member of Parliament, Gatundu South, and we are going to have quite a great discourse, of course, as we get to discuss a lot of issues. Well, we're honored to host GG Kagombe, member of the National Assembly, at a time when political tensions continue to rise across the country. Members of Parliament remain at the center of a national discourse, tasked with critical responsibility of representing the interest of the constituents. Yet for years, Parliament has faced scrutiny, often accused of serving personal or political interest over the public good. Are these concerns actually valid? And of course, are our legislators truly acting as conveyor belts for the executive? Tonight, through the lens of Honorable Kagombe, we seek to unpack these pressing questions. We'll also explore key issues shaping Kenya's politics, governance, and economy issues. And of course, we Tamis through Kagombe's eyes. Thank you so much, Gigi, Honorable.
Thank you very much
for joining us on this discourse. And of course, first of all, how does it feel to be an MP? I would want to ask that because, you see, people see you, but because you have a status in the society, people really want to know, how does it feel for this person to be a minister, to be a president, to be an MP? How do you feel? When you walk into a room and people are looking at you, when you walk somewhere, people... How generally do you feel as an MP, a member of Parliament?
Well, that's very interesting. I've never thought about it that way. But I think, first, to be honest, it's a privilege to be elected to serve the people of Gatundu South and generally the people of Kenya. And therefore, I would say it's a rare privilege that is a preserve of, only so many people can be members of Parliament at the same time. And therefore, it's good. But there are challenges too. It comes with a lot of challenges. Because the expectation of both the society, the electorate, and generally the society is very hard to keep up with. And therefore, it has its good times and down times. So it's just like any other job where you have your own challenges and you have your own good times. Yeah, so that's
but how does it feel generally? Just a normal day, you passing somewhere and someone says, the GG Kagombe.
Well,
and the way you talk, you talk in Parliament, so people know you.
Yeah, so it depends. we have once you in the public domain,
Yeah.
there are, we say there's the good, the bad,
Okay.
and the ugly.
Yes.
So you will have fans, you will have critics.
Yeah.
So you deal with both of them. I mean, being a member of parliament, of course, even when I was not a member of parliament, I used to look forward to being a member of parliament. So that feeling is nice. But then when you get here, then you realize there are also challenges to the job.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good feeling.
It's a beautiful feeling.
It's a beautiful feeling.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting. So maybe I'll probably be an MP or a leader somewhere, and then I'll get to know the real feeling.
Yeah, and then utasalimiwa na Gen Zs.
Then itasalimiwa.
Then you'll be like,
Na probably umesalimiwa sana because you supported. But of course, we'll get to talk about that.
Yeah.
But first things first, Honorable. For a very long time, the National Assembly has actually faced criticism for actually passing bills that seem disconnected to the realities of the people. People think, and I believe you have heard of that let's take a case in point, the 2024 finance bill. People thought that this was not reflecting the true need of what the people wanted. They thought that it had introduced taxes that the people did not want, and actually the claim has been that the parliament has just become a conveyor belt for the political elite. What do you think of this perception?
First of all, we need, before we use some terms,
Yes.
we need to define them.
Yes.
Let's first agree to define the word that you've used, the people.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
We first define it. We agree who the people are.
Yes.
Are the people the loudest people that have access to gadgets? Who are these, the people? Because if we don't define that, then we may have a challenge of saying who these people are. Because if these people are Boniface Mwangi, if these people are former CJ, what's his name?
Mutunga.
Yeah? If these people are some American, business people and elites and political people who want to advance the agenda of those people, then yes, then there's a problem. Then the people who are then the parliament and the political class went against the people. But if the people is Wanjuku, who parliament wants to protect against importation, and so that we create jobs, if the people are the people who are going to benefit from houses that government is doing under the housing agenda, if the people are the students who have not been able to go to school and need to go to school, and we are trying to protect them from the rich who are using these finances that are supposed to be helping the poor, if the people are those ones, my constituents who need a road, if the people are my tea pickers and the coffee pickers who want good exports, then the political class and members of parliament at that time spoke for the people.
Well, let me ask you.
So if we need to define, because you see, Eugene, you cannot come here. You see, you cannot say that you have the monopoly of defining who people are. You see, and I was just telling you about perspective. And I just asked you a question here, and you failed terribly off the camera.
Yeah.
And I asked you how many graduates you think we have in Kenya.
Yes.
And I would also, in line with that, ask you.
Yes.
Like, if you ask the media, if you ask CNN and everybody else, what is happening in Nairobi, there was chaos. The entire country was on the roads, right? A lot of people, those people that you saw in the streets, are urban dwellers. You know that, eh?
Yes.
And what percent do you think of Kenyans live in urban centers?
Okay.
What percent do you think? I want to hear your guess.
Well, I'm not quite good with numbers.
No, just give me a guess.
We could have around 40% living in the urban and 60 in the rural, if I'm not wrong.
Only 21 point something percent of Kenyans live in urban centers.
Okay.
The rest, 78%,
Yes.
are rural folks. So when you imagine that Kenya is burning, that day when Kenya was burning, I was in Gatondo and we were just going on about business. The entire constituency, nobody was on the road. We picked tea as a normal day. We picked coffee. We picked avocado. We continued with the economic activities.
Well,
So I want you to, when we're defining the people,
Yes.
we need to be very careful so that we do not bring the wishes of a few people
Yes.
and they become the people.
okay, Mheshimiwa, you see, when you talk about the people here, we have a representation of the people, just like we have you, a member of parliament, representing the people of Gatundu South. When you go to parliament, you go representing so many people. When these people, the Gen Z, came to parliament, invaded parliament on the 25th of June, that was in 2024, most of them, and it was a belief generally, the media was reporting and everyone, and it is there in the public that the people did not actually want that finance bill.
You know, I'm asking you,
Yes.
who are the people?
Yes. Okay.
Who are these people? Who are the people?
Okay.
Because you see,
Yes.
it is not the people who didn't want the finance bill.
Yes. It is a sect of it's a sect of leaders
It's
or
not
people.
It's just a few
people.
beneficiaries of certain businesses
Okay.
that have taken advantage and are involved in what we call choreographing, what we call social engineering,
So
and creating a certain narrative.
yes.
And I remember I asked over that bill. I once asked a guy what item, what line, what clause he had a problem with in the finance bill. And of course akatapatapa hapo akasema akakumbuka is a guy who does digital work.
Yes.
So akasema digital tax.
Okay.
And I told him that the actual truth is that finance bill of 2024 was actually removing digital tax from 15 to 5.
Okay.
So first of all, and I want us to be honest.
Yes.
Clearly honest, because I like facts.
Okay.
As a country,
Yes.
we don't read. First of all, one thing that I think is a problem is that the language in which we do finance act is too difficult to comprehend for the normal, it's not just for the common mwananchi.
Yes.
Even for even by any standard, for anybody who's even well educated, it's a very, we write it in a format that is very complex.
Yes.
So a lot of people actually do not get to understand finance bill properly.
Okay.
Because you see, finance bill, the entire bill is an amendment to the previous one.
Okay.
So it always has that we propose that you remove this clause, delete section 3 by replacing this one for this other one. I mean, it's such a difficult document.
Okay,
and therefore, you wouldn't blame people for not having information about it. And for that reason, we have anger and we have people out there, but deep down, and I know, I mean, that's not a very popular thing to say,
Yes.
but deep down, because everybody knows.
Yes.
Everybody knows themselves. You, yourself, the finance bill you want us to discuss,
Okay.
don't answer me. But deep down, you know whether you went through that document or you didn't.
Okay.
And you are a representative of so many Kenyans.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me ask you first, just maybe slightly, why do you write it in?
And probably, Eugene, that is a question we should actually just dispense off with in a proper manner.
Yes.
Did you read the finance bill of 2024?
Well, that's a conversation.
Just be honest. Just be honest here. Be honest. Did you read it?
Well, I went through some of them.
I have my answer.
Well, interesting. Let me usinikazie sana mheshimiwa.
No, but you see,
okay.
let me. And by the way, this
I'm even wondering.
I'm trying to be very fair. Sorry.
Yes.
I am not sikuonei.
Yes.
I am telling you, a lot of people do not get it. It's a complex document.
Yeah.
And therefore, you wouldn't blame people for listening to hearsay. And that is why we are so easily swayed by people who have other interests.
So let me ask you, Mheshimiwa, why will it be written in difficult language?
It's just the we have we are still colonized as a people. I mean, and things have, when we got independence in 1963, we just took over what Mzungu had done and just continued with it.
Okay.
We filled the same positions, the composition of government and everything was the same, only that we filled those seats with black people.
Okay.
So it's the same question. I asked myself, why is it that we must wear a suit and a tie when going to parliament? I mean, I have a lot of questions. What is in a suit and a tie? I mean, my brain is the same. What is different if I went in a t-shirt? You know those questions. So it's the same thing. We have just been doing this thing the same way over and over, and nobody thought. But we have. Can you imagine, in a country where Kiswahili is also a national language, we do not write that document in Swahili. Could you imagine? So you see a lot of things that you think should be done properly. And it's probably that nobody has ever come and said. And I have made a proposal that we need to simplify some of these laws, like the finance bill, so that even the least of society, even the least educated person, can at least get to know what is happening.
Let me ask you, Mheshimiwa, because there's this question that I've asked you about what the perception of so many people is. You see, this perception is for so many people, actually, and they believe that the parliament is a conveyor belt. Maybe something you could tell them about this specific people, because yes, there could be different kind of people.
Conveyor belt for what?
For what the and I believe that we're going to get a chance to talk about some of these bills, for example, and then some of them we're going to talk about is maybe debts that we're going to talk about, because this is one of the things actually that is actually killing our economy. And of course, that is people talking about it.
I just wanted you to...
When we talk about a conveyor belt, means the executive comes up with proposals, and then the National Assembly passes it without questioning so much.
Let me tell you this.
Yes.
There is this notion that the executive is the enemy of the people. And parliament is supposed to be...
defending the people.
Is supposed to be the watchman, standing between executive and the people. But we forget that it is Kenyans who elect the executive. So you cannot say that this is the enemy. That's number one. Number two, I, myself, and this is not my making, I did not make the constitution. It is like that. The constitution says that for you to be elected a member of parliament, it is good that you belong to a party. All right? And I was part of the UDA party. I believed in the manifesto that we make. And only after elections, the same people who elected me also elected the president. So the executive was elected by the people, and the legislature was also elected by the people. And this election happened under the UDA manifesto that I understood, that I was part of creating, that I believed in, that we are propagating. And the way our political system is, and I think, at times we say, don't hate the player, hate the game. This game called politics, and this game called government of Kenya, is designed and prescribed by the constitution. Constitution that was passed by the people. The most supreme document that gives power to the people. So why do you want, what is this thing that you think, because I've had this question so many times, what is this thing that you think I should be arguing with the executive about? If I believe in the housing agenda, why do you want the housing agenda to be brought simply because the constitution says that it shall emanate from the executive and then come to us? Why must I be against it? Why is it that the person who is against the executive is the guy?
One last thing. If you believe that there are only a few individuals who are against the Finance Bill 2024, why did the president then scrap it off and did not sign it into a law?
In all these things, there is a country. And you have heard that you cannot throw away the baby with the bathwater. So in as much as there is a few people who are behind this, or whether a few people or not a few people, to me, the situation that presented itself on June 25th last year,
Yes.
to me, would have required anybody who has this country at heart to de-escalate things and to step aside and just, try and calm things down. Because the death of one person is one too many deaths, and therefore, if the finance bill would make one or two people die, it's enough to stop it. Just stop it.
Okay.
And rethink.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the president made the right decision.
Okay.
To de-escalate things, and it doesn't matter who you're up against.
Okay.
Where there's chaos, the rational thing to do is to avoid and de-escalate the chaos.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa, there's an ongoing debate over the Constituency Development Fund. And actually, some people have actually argued that MPs managing these funds have compromised their oversight role. And just to ask you, has this really jeopardized the Parliament's core functions? Because there is the CDF, and of course, there is also the functions, which is oversight. And sometimes it's believed that sometimes there is that play between the executive and parliament, that if you don't do as the parliament wishes, as the government, as the executive wishes, and then it seems like the CDF, which may not be constitutional, if as I get it, is in jeopardy. So does it actually jeopardize the parliament's function from your perspective? And actually, what is the way forward on this particular issue?
The issue of CDF
Yes.
has been a thorny issue,
Yeah.
but again, only to a few elites to a few activists. This constitution, and generally our jurisprudence now, has brought it that you need to listen to the views of the people in what we call public participation before you make any major decision. You'll be shocked that in the public participation that we had, CDF had 100% support from the public. 100% support. We have memoranda after memoranda after memoranda. Parliament went to the constituencies and conducted public participation. Nobody, the actual real people, Wanjiko, nobody was opposed to CDF for obvious reasons. It is the only fund that is felt at the grassroots, all right? And but I have two things to say about CDF. That said, I would be happy to do legislative work and oversight, having to deal with any CDF or anything. Happy. And you need to know that there's the law as is and the law as it ought to be. There are realities as are on the table and how things ought to be. If systems as a country were working fully, and by as a country I mean all the regimes that have been there, whether Kibaki's or Moi's, Uhuru's, Ruto's, Kenyatta's, the infrastructure that we have probably doesn't work well. If the pollution was working, then probably we wouldn't need CDF, because you'd ask yourself, what do I do with what does CDF do? You build classes, you deal with education. CDF has very simple things that you can do with. You can deal with education, security, and we used to do sports, but now we're not doing sports. The board has reviewed that decision, and now we're doing environment. And those are the things you can deal with. So you can issue bursaries, you can build schools, you can do police stations or police posts.
Because people are asking.
And let me finish. Let me first tell you about CDF, because again, we have a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and lack of information. So those are the only three things that you do with CDF. All right?
Yes.
Education, security, and now environment. Then, if the Ministry of Education had a proper infrastructure that would identify the people, for example, who would need bursary, I would be so fine not to be involved in it. If Ministry of Education or the national government would have a proper way of fixing classes and knowing that class in Lokichar is done, and that class in Garsen is done, and that class in Ngenda, in Gatondo is done, then I would be fine to say, okay. But the reality on the ground is that our infrastructure, our government infrastructure, we are still a very young democracy. We have way to go. And therefore, you know that this fund had been put as a stopgap measure, or what we call something. What is that word for affirmative action? As an affirmative action fund, until we get our systems together. And creating systems doesn't happen one day. Not even one regime can create those systems to where we are.
Yeah.
It is like jurisprudence. It is created over years.
Okay.
We will need so many years, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe 100 years to get to where some economies like America are or others. We will need so many hundreds of years,
Yes.
so many years, let's say.
Okay.
And therefore, when we get there, then CDF will not make sense. But for now, that is why if you walk around, if you drive around the countryside, you are more likely to see footprints of CDF than any other fund or any other government channel of development.
Quite interesting. So it means it will have to take quite a number of years for actually these funds to be taken to, maybe for example, you talked about education, talk about security, some of the issues actually that the CDF is actually supposed to cure, if I could use that term.
Yep.
So it will take some time before they're
It will,
taken
you
to
know,
the chance.
you know,
But
we like going around issues and saying beautiful things because you're on cameras and there are screens and any. But the reality is, if you look from where we've come from 1963 to where we are, even democratically, it has taken time.
But what is the part of the work of devolution in that? Because we also have devolution, where the governor then oversees certain.
If you ask me, I think devolution was one of the worst things that ever happened to this country, because it just created some 47 units of what? I don't know. I think we just created a very disjointed way of doing things. There was supposed to be a cure to make sure that there is equality amongst the people and different communities, and to cure what is called traditional or past injustices. But I think what we ended up doing is just creating avenues for a few people to devolve corruption.
It's a devolution of corruption.
It's devolved corruption.
Devolved corruption. Quite interesting. Let's talk about Kenya's public debt, which has actually surged past 65 to 68% of the GDP, triggering actually a downward revision of the World Bank's growth forecast to around 4.5% in 2025, with domestic borrowing and high interest rates crowding out private investment. Well, the big question has always been on particularly the debt that we have as a country is on the odious debt, because we've had quite a number of critiques of the government describing our debt. And of course, even the president at one point described our debt as odious when he was campaigning. So that is a general belief that the debt we have is odious. If this debt is taken by the approval of Parliament, my question is Parliament then adhering to legal budgeting, to legal budgeting and borrowing frameworks in loan approvals? That is number one. And number two, a question that has actually been quite prominent is why is the government borrowing, and then where will then the private sector even borrow from if they're also borrowing from our local banks? Why can't they borrow elsewhere? Because these are two questions actually which are very critical that people are actually even asking. So number one, if we have an odious debt, then it means we have to blame the parliament. So what is the parliament's stake on this? And then two, why do the parliament agree that the government borrow from the local banks, actually, which is then a demerit to the private sector, which is employing so many people?
Borrowing by government doesn't happen the way we would do it with you. Ati nimesota kidogo nikwamwe mbao hapo ama nidunge thao. Borrowing happens structurally, and it happens under the Finance Act, because what you do is that you create a budget. You say, these are the needs of the people. This constituency, this county, this whatever, this ministry, this state department, and all state departments and sagas, what we call government, semi-autonomous government agencies, what we call MDAs, ministries, departments, and parastatals, and MDAs. Now, when the State Department has brought its and agencies, when the State Department has brought its budget, we consolidate all these things as Parliament and say, okay. That's why you find the two critical people who were there last year. There was Dende Nyoro, who's the chairman of budget, and there was Kimani Kuria, who's the chairman of Finance Committee. So they come and say, okay, our needs as a country, and of course there's a lot of conversations and discussions, and which one do we take, which one don't we take, you bring, and the budget process starts a long time in the year. We start by something we call the BPS, Budget Policy Statement, where people come and say, okay, this is what we want to do, this is what we need to do. So when state departments, ministries, agencies bring in their needs, and they say, this is what we need to run for the whole of next year, then we come and look at it and we say, okay, fine, this is good. Now, that's the chairman of budget comes, presents it, we discuss it, we are like, okay, it's fine. Then you say, but how do you raise this money? So you have revenue raising measures. So that's why you say, okay, for us to achieve this 4 trillion budget, we will need to hasten or enhance the tax on fuel. We need to do the tax of imported apparels. We will need to increase the tax on motor vehicles. We will need to collect money here, there, you understand, so that we raise this money so that it is spent by the MDAs. Then you find that you probably raised 4 trillion. You needed 4 trillion. Then you have looked that you probably will only be able to raise 3.9 trillion within acceptable, there are very many needs and to balance. So you want to look and make sure that you don't want to put a levy on alcohol to 200%. People will complain. You don't want to charge levies on fuel to a point that people cannot afford it. So you must balance. So this deficit is what then is passed as a borrowing. And therefore, you give the executive the work to go and tell them, from how we have looked at our economy, you're not able to raise that money here. But anyway, you can go and talk to your friends in other economies and see if they can finance this deficit. So that's what borrowing is. And therefore, you know that in Parliament only approved a deficit of, I think, you remember in the first supplementary budget of this regime, we reduced the budget that was there previously by about 590 billion, so that we reduced the deficit for borrowing.
Okay.
So in fact, from 2022, this regime worked to reduce by about 590 billion of the money that was supposed to be borrowed.
Okay.
So we only brought that borrowing to 300 million. And it's not unusual for economies and countries to borrow. I mean, I was listening to something on YouTube saying that the world is in about 300 trillion debt.
Okay.
Because everybody owes the other, and a lot of things, and some people are making good fun out of it, but this is for serious stuff. So that is the situation.
Okay.
And this borrowing, by the way, Eugene, you need to imagine that countries don't borrow for fun. Because you see, we have looked at the budget, and everything within that budget is necessary.
Yes.
You need to finance education.
Okay.
You need to finance health. You need to finance roads. You need to finance infrastructure. And by the way, the electorate and the public and the people are always demanding for services that will need money from the government.
Mheshimiwa, when you talk about odious debt, it means illegitimate and a debt that people do not understand where it goes to. And a debt or a loan that people cannot really account for. What has it really done for? What has it really done? Where was it in our economy? And these are some of the questions that Kenyans have been asking themselves. That debts, odious debts, is killing our economy. So how can we, number one, reduce debts to have a sustainable economy for our people? And then number two, the odious debts. What is the solution to the odious debt, the legitimate debt? When you talk about many scandals, because I know you are quite much aware of the many scandals that we've had, not just in this regime, but even the previous regimes that we've had. There's quite a number of scandals from the first regime.
I'll be happy to be informed of these scandals. You know, this general thing of saying, I would love it if you educated me, told me about the scandals.
We've had a number of scandals from the time of President Moi, and one of such scandals is, permit me to...
Golden Bag
scandals. We've had...
Anglo leasing.
Yes.
Okay, I know what you mean. Okay, I've understood you. Okay. Now, what I would say is,
yes,
I am pretty sure you were listening to me. So the only problem would be that you didn't understand. But I think I've addressed that issue. And I'm certain, I could see you are hearing. What I mean is that we have had money borrowed. If you ask, is there an SGR that is done? It is there. As to whether that money was... We were frugal with the money. I am not convinced. Okay. I don't think we were frugal with that money. I think that was overly exaggerated. But if you ask, someone will come and tell you, this is SGR, this is why we borrowed 800 million, you get, or 800 billion. Then you would ask, how is it helping the economy? How is it driving the economy? Because you see, even personally, if you borrow money from the bank yourself, and you go buy a luxury car, and you don't have a job, at some point it will come to bite you, all right? Okay. But if you went and borrowed that money and put it into production somewhere, then it will help you, because this production will be at some point helping you repay. So we have a lot of borrowing that we have done in the past and taken it to sectors that to me were not very prudent.
Okay.
Because they do not drive the economy. And that is why I said that I wish that the monies, instead of doing the railway line, the standard gauge railway, I wish we went to do Galano Kulalu, so that we do production of maize or whatever. Okay. And that is why I said I wish we went to put in ginnery so that you can produce cotton. Okay. And that is why I wish we went and did Kenani Leather Park so that we can export leather and value add the leather that we produce from our animals, and all those things, and very, very many others, especially around agriculture. How I wish we borrowed money to put up a fertilizer plant owned by the government so that we stop this importation of fertilizer. You know, how I wish we wanted to create capacity to value add our coffee so that we do not have to sell to people in the US and the UK, so that then they go value add in their countries and then bring it back to us to buy at an expensive price and take them to other countries. You know, so this debt that we have is going to be a thorn in the flesh for a long time coming. Because I think we got debt that was put in the wrong priorities or in non-priority areas that are not able to drive. You see, I am not saying that we don't build roads. We need to build roads. But we have other competing needs for monies as a country that would make a lot more sense than just doing roads.
So according to you, Mheshimiwa, what is the real issue affecting our economy? Because people are crying about the economy. We have the issue of Gen Z, which I hope you're going to shed light a bit on what the government or the parliament is doing about it. But they're crying the economy. The economy is bad. The economy this and that. And it's not that this regime alone. We've been crying about the economy for the longest time. What is really ailing our economy? And
let me tell you. You know, a lot of times, if you ask your guy next door, a lot of people think that this economy is we focus a lot on this tax thing, the 4 trillion things. A lot of people think that this 4 trillion thing is what the economy is. But you know that 4 trillion shillings, the 4 trillion bob is only maybe 14, 15 or 16% of our GDP. So we have 2 problems. One, we have a bad culture as a people. Forget politics, forget politicians, remove all the politicians from who are here and the others, and leave the country to Jesus Christ and his disciples, and leave the culture the way we have it. There will be a problem. Because the 86% of the economy, which is the bigger part, and which is the part that employs the people, which is the private sector, cannot be policed. It's private money. It's the money you've been paid. Yo mshande umeka kwa mfuko 200,000 shillings. Ukitaka kupiga sherehe, it's your money. Na hakuna mtu anaweza kuuliza hapo, hakunanga maandamano, it's your money. Kuna mtu anaweza kuandamania, hiyo ni pesa yako. Another guy has gone and made, I don't know, a killing somewhere he has 100 million shillings somewhere. We have intentionally set a floss economy that the guy who's supposed, because you see, in every country, when I left school, I was employed by an individual. I was employed by Royal Media Services, and I was employed by Nation Media Services. That is private money. A guy got money and decided not to buy an expensive car and decided to put up a station and created a job for me and other people. But what do? A lot of our private money, we want to go and floss. You want to buy the newest Range Rover and just be driving it around town and not create a job for anybody. The other person who wants to invest, wants to go and do some huge building somewhere. A guy will invest half a billion shillings or 1 billion shillings into a flat somewhere and employ a caretaker and 2 guards and a guy to wash the stairs. And you find half a billion shillings has not generated a salary for 100,000 monthly into perpetuity. You know? So that's number one.
Okay.
That's number one. That's our culture. We have many things that are wrong in this country.
Okay.
Number 2, we created a constitution, and in that committee of experts, there wasn't an economist who asked this question. All right, you've created all these things. How shall we finance it? Which economy is going to finance this constitution? Which economy is going to finance all these devolution things that you've made? Which economy is going to finance all these commissions that you have formed? You know, those questions. We needed to ask ourselves those questions. Why do we have 349 members of parliament? Why do we have a Senate? Why do we have 47 county assemblies? You know, all those things. We created a very expensive constitution. So that's another problem. And the problem number 3 is that over the last 25 or so years, we have killed this tertiary level of training that was supposed to be giving us skills.
Yes.
So what we have is a lot of population that is coming in with very high expectations because they are actually educated. They went to school and they, according to our culture, is that you finish, you as a person, your work is to go through education, finish, get a degree, and then someone else should do something else.
Okay. Wow.
You know?
Yes.
And then when you come into reality, then you find then our economy is smaller than it can accommodate all of us.
Okay.
Then that becomes a problem.
Let me ask you, Mheshimiwa, an elephant in the room, a question that so many of us actually, and that we want to know. From your perspective as a leader of this country who has seen what has happened in the recent past with the Generation Z, the maandamano, the protests, and all these things, what is really the problem with Gen Z from where you sit? And what is even the parliament doing to ensure they come up with a solution? Because the parliament is the representation of the people. What solutions are there actually?
First of all, there's nothing unique about Gen Zs. Everybody, the millennials, the other people, they're called what, baby boomers or something, have always been agitating for change at that time. I mean, when we were agitating for the new constitution in 2005, we were in our early 20s, 22, 23, 24, and there were many of us. I mean, when people like Mwandawiro Mganga were agitating for change and multi-party democracy, they were in their early 20s. There's nothing unique about Gen Zs. It's just follows, just that we are now in a communication generation where information moves faster than it used to move previously. You do not have to wait for bulletin at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock to know what has been happening in the country. We get to know things as they happen. And like I told you previously, a lot of times we see our realities and imagine that those are the realities of the world or everybody's realities. And that is not. So what I would say about Gen Zs is that they actually have a genuine reason to be frustrated. Is there a crisis? Yes, a big one. Okay. Because like I've told you, we are getting increasingly, first of all, I think we as a country have ruined a whole generation by creating non-achievable expectations. Because we created an education system that does not enable our people. And let me talk about it as a victim. Sincerely speaking, now that I look back, I am an economist. Okay. And when I went to the University of Nairobi to study economics, when I now look back, I wish I had gone to a polytechnic and learned carpentry. You know, I would have been able to make ends meet and use my own skills a lot faster and immediately from school. I would have acquired a real skill. So now, you know, and I say this with a lot of sincerity. We have guys, you know, like me, we have really had to struggle in life to get to where we are, to try and maneuver and get to do something with yourself. You find that you did a degree that cannot even employ you. I mean, I'm telling you that after all that economics, I ended up in a media house that needed no economics there. I mean, we just needed to broadcast, and I found my way around there, and I did. So we have a serious mismatch of our education system and the economy, the needs that the economy has. I've just told you again. Okay. We are an agrarian economy, largely. And therefore, the education system should have been tailored around agriculture. Okay. All universities should have been like JKU. Okay. Technology in agriculture, how do we improve productivity, how do we, you know, all those things. That is what we should have been doing. That is what all universities should have been doing. But now, you are likely, if you walk into a university, you're likely to find more students doing procurement than any other course. Then you wonder, these people, what do they want to go and procure? And do you know what, again? Yes. We have created an economy and an education system that is based on theft. Yes. why a lot of people want to do procurement is because they think that is the line that you utakaribia pesa hapo unaweza kuiba.
Yeah.
Uajiriwe, ukuwe procurement, when unanunua vitu uibe. You know, it's a problem.
Quite interesting. Let me ask you. Amidst talking about all these issues that are affecting the Gen Z, because we understand what Gen Z did in 2024 and 2025, probably this could be foreseen in 2026. We do not know what will actually happen in 2026. But amidst all these conversations on what really the Gen Z wants, Raila Odinga has actually proposed what he calls the intergenerational conclave to actually help address Kenya's issues, describing them as deeper national issues. Kagombe, Honorable, is this idea, first of all, viable? And where does the Parliament stand on this? Bearing that the Parliament is meant to represent the people of Kenya.
To me, intergenerational talk, conclave is a joke. Just jokers. You know, this country is full of jokers. We joke a lot. You know, now, who and who is going to sit and say what? How do you have a conversation with people who are formless, leaderless? I mean, all those things. What is in intergenerational conclave? What is that thing? Then you give us Kasamuel or that other guy, and then tomorrow he's being lynched by his people, the same people who had brought him to the front. And you give us, what is that lady called? You know, whoever it is, and some other guys there. I mean, and Kibaso again, who goes and finds an opportunity to, you know, this thing is not about generations. Even that generation of Gen Zs, they are still greedy. Ni wakora, ni chance tu hawajapata ya kukua kwa mahali ya kusema kelele. So, I mean, because we have seen them. I mean, it's just last year. In 1 year, we have seen them change color. And from this person who's criticizing the government to this person who now has Prados and has joined the bad habits of politicians. You know me, I'm not a politician like that one. I'm just a guy giving commentary. Okay. So first of all, that is a joke. What we need to do, this country, if we have problems do not affect a certain generation only. If the economy is not good, even my grandmother, who is 90 years or who is 100 years, is affected by that economy. So what we should be talking about is how do we improve our economy? And I've told you this, there will be no magic. Let me tell you why there's no chaos in Uganda. First of all, they're able to feed themselves.
Yes.
Before you feed a country, if you have not fed a country, there will be chaos, whether we like it or not. Any country without food, without feeding its people, will have chaos. So we must first address food security. Bare minimum. We must first come to basics. First, feed people's stomachs. All right? When you feed their stomachs, then now let's go to the next thing. Create an education system that is going to support what your economy looks like. And accept. Kubali hii story. Kubali kwamba sisi hii uchumi yetu inakaa namna hii. And it is not bad to have an agrarian economy. Brazil is an agrarian economy. I mean, China has, well, production of and manufacturing, but agricultural production is significant.
Okay.
So it's good. We need to feed our people. And I don't know if you look at us saying this, when you start talking about agriculture, you look like you to the young people. You look like you when you fala, when you toast. Okay. You get. Okay. Then we go up and start creating an economy, an education system that will support what feeds us or what drives our economy.
So let me ask you, Kagombe, before you go for Honorable, the issue of Gen Z, if it's not intergenerational conclave, this conversation, do you think it's going to end? In simple words.
I just want to say that intergenerational talk is placebo.
Okay.
It's just placebo.
Okay, well put. Now, there's a popular phrase, which I know you are quite much aware of, which has quite captured the public attention, the one-term narrative. And actually, you are non-supporter of President William Ruto. Yeah, there's a belief that the one-term movement has got a silent support from the central Kenya. And this is because Rigathi Gachagua, the former deputy president, has got a believed to have a vast support from the central Kenya. You hail from Gatundu South. You're a member of parliament from Gatundu South. How do you feel about this? How will this be with you, even going forward as a supporter of President William Ruto in a region that says one term? And how do you even feel with the one term narrative? I don't know whether you also say one term.
You know, I believe in. I don't subscribe to that narrative. Number one, I don't think it is true. That's number two.
Yeah.
And most importantly, and number three is that Kenya, we love. We are a sensational people.
Yeah.
It's not even a year. We were not now. I want to remind you about the terms that have been popular in Kenya.
Yeah.
We have one term. No, actually, one term was like 2 months ago. Now we have something called TUTAM. TUTAM is a thing.
Yeah.
One term was a thing. Kasongo was a thing. Zakayo was a thing. Mavia Cook was a thing in this country.
Yes.
Wamashati.
Yes.
Jaden Wamashati was a thing.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, we there's never a dull moment in Kenya.
Yeah.
And these things come and they go. You have had someone say that we have peculiar behavior as Kenyans.
Yeah.
We have had many times coming. Many. They started in 1963.
Yeah.
Not even in 63. Even before then, during Mau Mau.
Yeah.
If you ask what is Mau Mau, we like crafting things and calling them certain names, and that's our thing as Kenyans.
Yes.
So there's nothing new about one term. It will also come and it will go.
Yeah.
As a term.
Yeah.
And we have had many. We have had many terms, bro. Anguka nayo kila wakati. Things are coined and they come. So even that one will go. I will call me here next year.
Yeah.
Tell me whether there will be anything called one term. Ukuje hapa.
Yeah.
Unaona hapa kwa hii meza.
Yeah.
Call me next year time like this.
So there will be no
Put it on your calendar.
conversation and narrative. But what about
one term will not be a thing.
Let's talk about how the future.
And by the way, let me tell you,
how will the future then be for the leaders who are supporting President William Ruto, but those areas have a back Rigathi Gachagua, who was actually his relationship with the president.
Is he vying, by the way, for any position?
It could be.
Which one?
He said.
My point is this. Let me first tell you something.
Yes.
Voting patterns in Kenya are not based on issues. I can submit that here. And when elections come in 2027, people will go back to their conclaves. Wacha hii watu wengi. Wacha hii intergeneration. People will go back to their conclaves. And these are conclaves of emotion. Conclaves of emotions is what drives the politics of this country. And when people go to conclaves of emotions, the voting pattern will be the same it has always been. The voting pattern in Kenya is so predictable. Don't be lied to by anybody that there is some new magic that will come. And I will tell you this, the voting pattern and the is actually completely predictable. And it is empirical.
So it's predictable that...
And empirical.
Okay.
The voting pattern of 1992 will played out in 1997, and in 2002, and in 2007, and in 2013, and in 2017, and in 2022.
So, Mheshimiwa, let me ask you this.
And
question.
it will be the same thing, mutatis mutandis.
Mheshimiwa, you believe that the central Kenya, because for the longest time, they have voted as a bloc. And you've said that the voting pattern of Kenyans is quite predictable. Let me ask you, do you believe that the Mount Kenya will vote as a bloc? And to who?
Mount Kenya has voted as a bloc many times.
Yes.
Except once or twice. And even those 2 times, the split is always almost 30-70. You will always feel.
Yes.
Even in 1992 when we had Kibaki and Matiba, people voted overwhelmingly
For Matiba.
And even in 2002 when we had Kibaki and Uhuru, that region voted overwhelmingly for Kibaki. Even this time, the same thing will happen. Even if, first of all, I don't think we are fielding any candidate for presidency. And therefore, Mount Kenya will vote overwhelmingly for William Ruto.
And
We'll be here.
And the reason is?
We'll be here. I've told you, just don't reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
The voting patterns are known. And let me tell you something. A lot of times, our people do not want very radical behavior.
Okay.
Our people look for stability. And stability, our people think, which thinking that I subscribe to, that you're better off with a non-progressive but non-radical leader than a radical one who may end up having mistakes that could cost the economy. Yeah.
Okay, quite interesting. We're also seeing other new presidential hopefuls like David Maraga.
No. We must differentiate presidential hopefuls and presidential jokers. No. We will not put those two people in the same category.
We have David Maraga. We have Okia Mtata. We have the United Opposition, people like Eugene Wamalwa. We have Rigathi Gachagua. We have Kalonzo Musyoka. All these are presidential hopefuls, Mheshimiwa.
Bro, why have you left Maure? And
Wajakoya. And
Wajakoya.
Yes.
Why have you left Boniface Mwangi? Bring all the jokers then. Bring all the jokers. Okay. We go to Churchill live and look for guys who want to vie. I mean, it's comedy. Now you've gotten into the realm of comedy. I thought we were doing a serious interview. You want us to do comedy?
But Maraga wants to be president.
Let me tell you, there's something that I've seen very interesting.
Yes.
And people have made this mistake. Mimi nilijua. On the 25th of June last year, there are guys who thought that, there's a movement outside, we're inside parliament, we were supporting this thing, we were saying no. And now they think because we have come out that you can go to that crowd and they will embrace you. Which crowd? You saw what happened to them. The ODM guys who had tried to jipendekeza hapo kwa Gen Z vile walionana na maneno. You have seen another one going to Gio Joang's thingy in City Mortuary, and you saw what happened. What I'm saying is, do not think Maraga is completely lost. And I understand he's I mean, if you look at the guy, I mean, you just know he's a joker. I don't even know why you're talking about him. I'm better off talking about Wajakoya. Wajakoya had, some level of... because let me tell you why I say this. People think that because now you're saying Ruto must go, and these are people are saying the same, now you think you are together. You are not, my friend. You are not. So Maraga thinks that now he can ride on this wave of Gen Z that...
So according to you, he's a serious contender.
Who?
Who is a serious contender that can replace William Ruto?
William will be competing against himself.
William Ruto?
Yeah.
Will be competing against himself?
William will compete against Ruto. One of them will win.
Wow. Quite interesting. But as we come to the end of this conversation, Mheshimiwa, you've talked about something that I would love us to shed light a bit on, and that is how our politics are. And of course, it's predictable. And one of the most things actually that have been I've been part of our politics, I've been quite much inherent, is how tribal our politics is.
Oh, so you know that.
Yes.
So you just text me, ulikuwa unanichezea tu hapa ukiniambia ati kuna kitu itakuwa tofauti 2027. You knew it.
Actually, I'm asking you, should we expect something different? And is it a bad thing, actually, for our politics, for us to be in the conclaves, tribal? Because sometimes, and most of the times, we've experienced that during political seasons, actually, there's a lot of tensions compared to these other days. There are communities who agree, they talk, do business together. But when it's political seasons, then people fight and all these things happen.
The first question we must ask ourselves is how when did we find out what our tribes are and whose agenda was it for this tribe to be against this tribe? First of all, you know, it's not politicians. This thing has, well, politicians, but even the Muzungus were politicians, the ones who had our government, right? Yeah. So it came from way back. Yeah. So it's been like that. But first of all, there's nothing wrong with feeling comfortable with someone who you probably feel. I mean, all of us. When you visit Russia, and everyone is white speaking some Russian language, and you find some guy from Ghana, you feel okay.
Familiar.
You feel familiar. I mean, you're like, hey, okay, where are you from? You even want to talk to them. I mean, so people generally feel closer, want to get to someone who looks more familiar to them. So you can't blame really people for voting along tribal lines. That's number one. Okay. That said, though, it really denies us a chance to get proper leadership, because in actual sense, it may feel like that, but at times we end up getting the wrong people just because they are from our place or they speak our language and all those things. So it is actually ends up giving us very negative results, because you have closed your mind that you don't want to see anything else apart from the guy who is from your community, and you don't care whether he's intelligent or not. You don't care whether he has your interest of the country at heart or not, and all those things. Then we end up voting like that. So there are a lot of things, and I like the idea that people say that tribalism will end and all those things, and I feel that we will have other parameters that we will over time be more important than your tribe, even as a country. I mean, going forward, but like I've told you, societies don't change in an instant. They come slowly. By the way, if I may remind you, you know, these things that you imagine are new. These things you're calling Gen Z protests. First of all, you know, you imagine that they came in 2024. These protests that you see here were meant to start in 2020. If you remember, and I want to take you to news. Check what happened in the month. Check the news of the month of March 2020, from the 20th going forward, and you see that President Uhuru Kenyatta jumped at an opportunity when COVID came to close the country, because we were going to this maandamano. The country was going to be ungovernable, if you remember. And he jumped at that opportunity. Go and look at the headlines from the 20th to all the way to April. He closed so many meetings. You remember even William Ruto was stopped from doing gatherings that he had, and there was a lot of maandamano planned. And it didn't happen because the police said there's curfew now. So, and you know, we pushed curfew for 19 months. That's almost 2 years. So from 2020, Uhuru was just lucky to have COVID around. That is what saved him. Otherwise, hii maandamano ingekuwa saa hiyo. And then guys sat kidogo. By the time COVID came, of course, you know, COVID really destabilized most of us. Then before you get back to your feet, you find out what is happening. You know, COVID had made you forget even some of the things that you used to do. You even forgot the place you used to go hang, or the place where you used to go to work. You even you've not been to your office for so long. You've not met your colleagues for so long. So that really destabilized us. And then by the time he was lifting this thing, boom,
Okay.
Campaign time. Then of course, campaign time, there's a lot of positive things and there's aspirations and hope. And so guys are still, okay, we have this thing is going to come. We have, we have Azimio, like Kenya, good things being said. We have 6,000 that should be getting next year. We have all those things were flying left, right, and center. And then the elections came. And then now guys were like, okay, now let's chill. Okay. Then guys are like, hey, wait a minute. Are we not supposed to be going for Mandamano? Hey, let's go back. And then of course, there will be dynamics. There are people who will be like, wacha tudandie kitu, wacha tuipatie jina. Kwanza watu, wacha tuwaite Gen Z. Because you see, it's not that Gen Zs are the guys who are affected by this economy more than us. They are not even, millennials have more problems than Gen Zs. They have kids, they have school fees to pay, they have house rents to pay. Millennials are right now currently have a bigger burden generally in society because they're the ones who are raising kids and doing those things and paying school fees and trying to, all those things. Gen Zs have a very easy burden. Most of the Gen Zs are coming from their fathers' houses and their mothers' houses. So what problems are they telling us they have seen? Wait, kwanza, wacha hao Gen Z wakutane na hiyo age yao, watapatana na hizo mashida zao, wataanza kuishi kwa nyumba zao. Hiyo kelele, watatulia. They think we are stupid. Ati sisi ni mafala, sisi ni waduanzi, tulikuja tu ati sisi hatupendi kupigana. Ukumbuke hiyo katiba yenye wanatumia saa hizi, that constitution that they're using to say that we know what the constitution says, those provisions were fought by us when we were Gen Zs, when we were their age. It is us who went to the streets in 2004, 2005, 2006, all the way to 2010 to get this constitution. We did not like some of the things that are in the constitution, but at least we said, at least there are some of them.
Okay.
Finally,
as we come to the end of this conversation, one of the issues and one of the things actually that affected politics and actually has been affecting politics for the longest time is the handshakes of Raila Odinga and
many other people.
And many other people. But let us talk about this particular one of 2024, where there's a working agreement between the President, William Ruto, and Raila Odinga as ODM, which actually saw some experts getting into the government, and has made some people actually who believed that they voted in this government, they have been actually sidelined, which saw actually Rigathi Gachagua, the alliance saw Rigathi Gachagua being impeached because it could not have been possible if ODM and the government MPs did not actually work together, among so many other things. So number one, the people who feel they had been sidelined, and this is not right. And again, what is the future, or how was this collaboration meant to be? Because Raila has been known, or other people say that he gets somewhere and then there are some people actually who have to be sidelined. And generally, what do you make of this agreement? And even what is its future going on into 2027? Are they going to work together? Are we going to see Baba also trying to front himself or other people? What do we expect? What is the life of this now that even NADCO report seems to have failed?
First of all, I like Luism is not a tribe. Lu is not a tribe. It's a lifestyle. So I like the way you bring in experts. If it was a Kikuyu, they could not be experts. It can only come from when Luos joined the government, and I love that. That's Kenya for you. I told you we like coining names and things. Expert is one of them. The handshake of Raila Odinga and William Ruto was, first of all, a good thing. It brought stability, and I have said it before that at that time, anything that would have brought sanity to the country, to me, was most welcome, because we don't have another country, and it doesn't matter. At that time is not for who carries the credit or whatever it is. It is, let's just have some sanity, It's when you go to some place and you realize you need to de-escalate temperatures. You need to, so that people can come and calm down and get to talk. That said, Raila Odinga is an interesting man. He has been in handshakes that have gone all the way to the end, and he has been in handshakes where he has jumped ship when it's convenient for him. So you really can't, his behavior is not empirical. You cannot swear and say that this thing will happen or this thing will not happen, because his collaboration with Uhuru Kenyatta went all the way to the end. The one with Kibaki, he jumped ship. No sooner had we started than he jumped ship in 2003. From 2002, in 2003, he jumped ship. By the time we were getting to 2005, he was completely on the other side. With Moi, he did that musical chairs, twice, thrice. You know, one time Jogo ikameza tractor, ingine sijui corporation, ingine, and like those things kept happening. Yeah? So I don't know. I am not a prophet, but I would guess. My guess would be that Raila Odinga may be plotting his exit, and he probably, you know, one of the things that I have found very interesting in life is, and that has ruined so many careers and businesses and many things, is knowing when to exit the stage. And if I were Raila Odinga, I would exit the stage now. But that is me, if I were Raila Odinga. So if I were to be, and because I am a rational person, and I believe he's also a rational person, he might be planning his exit out of politics in a nice way. And I think working with Ruto now up until 2032 would be my best bet if I were him to exit. Then we exit together and vamos.
Oh, quite much interesting. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa Honorable GG Kagombe. Gabriel, and the other name, of course, and then there's Kagombe. Thank you so much for accepting our invite. Maybe you can give your parting shot as we come to the end of this conversation, Mheshimiwa.
What I would say to people watching is that we have one country, and this country will be built by us, and we must protect it jealously, and that whatever come may, we must be sober enough to know that we can't ruin it, but aggressive enough to make sure that we put the people on our seats, or the people in leadership on their toes, and to make sure that they provide proper leadership, but sober enough also to know what it means to build an economy. And with that, Kenya is a resilient country, and we'll be here for a long time coming.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Very
much.
good.
My name is Eugene Kwach, and this is the Power Table. This is where we get to give you insights on different issues on politics, current affairs, economy, and governance that affects you as our viewer and as a Kenyan citizen. And of course, we bring thought leaders, politicians, and different leaders to get to give us the perspective of different issues that are affecting you. Well, till next time, my name is Eugene Kwach. Have a good night.